I'm headed to my freezer again, and if you watch my channel, A Great Cooker, then you know that I tend to cook food from frozen because it's quick and it's not much hassle. So today we're going to be cooking these leg quarters from this completely frozen state. And make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to know how to cook foods quickly and easily. I'm not going to lie to you. This is a controversial topic, okay? The way that I'm going to cook my chicken. A lot of people think it's okay, and a lot of people think it's not. But what I'm going to do is pull out my slow cooker here. Specifically, it's a crock pot. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to cook my chicken from frozen. But let's talk about something first, okay? The question we're going to address is it safe, all right, to cook frozen chicken in your slow cooker? This is a great question. And depending on who you ask, like if you ask, my mother did it and she taught me it was okay. I'm sure maybe people in your family have done it, but I wanted to get a more, concrete answer. And so I figured that the USDA was probably a good place to start. And so I'm going to see what the USDA says about cooking chicken from a frozen state. And as you can see, you could, if you wanted to pause and look at this, with specifications, the USDA is okay with you cooking frozen meats. It is important to follow certain guidelines, but that doesn't really address a slow cooker, right? So let's look up what the USDA says about cooking frozen chicken in a slow cooker. And they say it is best to thaw meat or poultry before putting it into a slow cooker. Frozen pieces will take longer to reach a safe internal temperature and could possibly result in foodborne illness. Frozen or partially frozen foods can also cool everything else in the slow cooker. And this is officially what the USDA says, okay? But I'm curious as to what Crockpot says because that's what I'm using. And I feel like they should know, they have best practices for their own appliances. So let's take a look at a Crockpot instruction manual and see if we can find anything. This specifically is for a 4 to 7 quart manual. I'm going to scroll through very quickly here and see if they have anything specific about cooking with frozen foods. And here we go. It says, when cooking frozen meats, at least 1 cup of warm liquid must first be added. The liquid will act as a cushion to prevent sudden temperature changes. An additional 4 hours on low or 2 hours on high is typically required. So the information we've been presented with here is that your mom, your uncle, your great grandpa, they're probably going to tell you, hey, it's fine. I do it all the time. I've done it for years. The instruction manual to Crockpot also is saying, hey, it's fine as long as you do it a certain way. But if you go by the USDA, they're pretty much not okay with this as a cooking method. So please keep that in mind and make your own decision, okay? As a matter of fact, leave me a comment below because I'm wondering, are you okay with cooking your chicken from frozen in a slow cooker? Let me know in the comments below, okay? Yay, yeah, I for doing that, or nay, I'm not comfortable doing that, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you my way. Okay, I do cook my frozen chicken in the crock pot. I have for probably about 25 years, and it's been fine. But remember what the USDA said, okay? Keep that in mind. And here are the caveats that I use, okay, personally, for whenever I cook frozen meat in my slow cooker. Go ahead and get your frozen chicken into your crock pot. Like I said, this crock pot is about 7 quarts, and I believe, it's hard to tell, but I think this is about 4 pieces. But honestly, I could, if I had more pieces, you could fit more in there. But this is all the chicken that I have left in my freezer. And as you can see, it is frozen solid. Once that's done, put the top on. I do not put water because the crock pot will make its own water. The chicken will. And I am setting it to high. And I'm not going to lift the lid for several hours. That was one of my caveats. I'm going to wait and check on this in 4 hours before ever lifting the lid. And I almost forgot one of the most important parts, okay? I do season right from the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and drop a good amount of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning on top of the chicken. Now, I will have to season this again later on, but for now, I'm just putting a bit of seasoning on there to get everything started. Now, this is about 2 hours in. I'm not going to lift the lid, but I just want you to see what the chicken's looking like. It is on high, and if you look down at the bottom, you can see it is already starting to render some juice and render a bit of fat. I'm down to just the last 13 minutes from that 4-hour timer. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how the chicken is cooking. Now, it's not done. It has only been 4 hours. Remember, according to Crockpot, it's going to need more hours than what you would usually need to cook chicken. And as you can see, that is not cooked. Very, very pink, raw, I would say. So I'm just arranging the pieces of chicken, just kind of spread them out a little bit, and so that they can continue to cook. And now I'm adding a bit more seasoning to try to hit those spots where I wasn't able to season before. Then I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to give this a couple more hours to cook. Actually, I'm going to check on it again in 2 hours. This is about an hour and a half later, so we're now looking at a total of 5.5 hours of cooking time. It's quite possible that the chicken is done, but I want to make sure. So I'm going to use my instant read thermometer, and I'm going to check the temperature on every single piece. At 165, it is considered done, 165 degrees. And all of these pieces are there, although that piece is still a little bit pink. But according to the thermometer, it is done, as are all the pieces. But I'm going to let this go for another 30 minutes because that way I know I won't see any pink. Now it's done. I'm going to skin this chicken, shred it, and I'm going to use it in some chicken tacos for dinner.